You ever had a dream or a goal that you knew you wanted to do? Something you were excited for, and somehow you still didn't do it? Not because the passion faded, but because the days did. Because the year quietly slipped by. Because no one ever taught you how to plan your days, your months, or your years in a way that actually matches the life that you want to live. That was me for most of my life. I had plans, I had ideas, but most of them just lived in my head, not on my calendar. Until the day that I bought myself the big ass calendar. And yes, that's its real name. It's a calendar so big that it could double as a garage door. And I hung it right in my master bedroom where I had to see it every single day. I actually bought about 10 of these to give as gifts, and most people thought it was just a joke at first. And when I first hung it up in our master bedroom, my wife was like, "This is a joke, right?" But it wasn't. And I didn't know it at the time, but that calendar was about to turn my 2025 into the most fulfilling year of my life. A year we didn't just live, a year we filled, a year where we lived every single square. But it didn't start epic. It started with a blank wall and a question. How do you fill an entire year with meaning? The first thing I wrote on that giant calendar was our family trip to Disney, January 3rd. A simple circle on a simple weekend. But that circle changed everything. We stayed at the Contemporary. It was freezing. We bought matching Disney sweaters like a family of tourists who've never been there before, even though we grew up going to Disney as kids. But that trip wasn't about Disney. It was about direction. It was probably the first moment where we looked at life and said, we're not going to wait for memories to happen this year. We're going to make memories this year. And somewhere between the Toy Story roller coaster and It's a Small World, something inside me clicked. Because 7 days later, I landed something that has been on my bucket list my entire life. January 10th, I did it. A standing back flip off the flat ground. This had been a goal of mine my whole life. I've always wanted to land a backflip. But suddenly, that goal of doing a backflip someday became today. And that flip wasn't just about skill. It was about belief. It was the moment that I realized the act of just writing something down makes it real, makes it trackable, makes it possible. It takes a dream floating in your mind and anchors it to something you can't ignore. Then I hit a 10K PR. Then a half marathon PR. Then a back squat PR. January felt like a movie trailer to the whole year. All these goals that I never wrote down suddenly had a deadline. And so I was able to do it. But something happened at the end of the month. In a building filled with cold plunges, filled with saunas, welders, engineers, and 2 founders who didn't know they were going to change the course of my entire year and the way I create content. January 28th, I walked into the Plunge factory headquarters in California, expecting a simple tour, but I walked out with a new direction for my whole year. I met with the founders, Ryan and Mike. I met with their engineers. I met the people on the assembly line, people who have passion in their fingertips, seeing exactly how these products are made, how they're tested, how they're shipped, and seeing how much care goes into each and every one of them. It really changed the way I communicate online. And it really showed me that if I want to be the Carfax of wellness, I had to get out there and see these things for myself. I had to get behind the scenes. And I had no idea that that was going to become the theme of my entire year. Because February came, and with that, a moment that changed me as a dad forever. February actually almost vanished. It's the shortest month and it likes to disappear without permission. Between all the school events and to-do lists, it almost became just another blur month. But then I looked at my calendar and I saw a long blank stretch. And I thought to myself, blank space is dangerous because blank space becomes lost space. And lost space becomes lost memories. So, spontaneously, I booked a trip. A spontaneous father-son adventure. Just me and my 5-year-old son, Wyatt. Just the bros, as he likes to say. We flew out to Beaver Creek so he could learn how to ski. Ski trips are expensive with the whole family, and sometimes that makes them impossible. But Wyatt had never skied before, and everybody else had. So we did it. 1 kid, 1 dad, 1 mountain. And these are 4 days that I will remember till I'm old and gray.
And I forgot to bring shoes, so now I'm carrying them. A solid 15-minute hike, literally in a blizzard, uphill.
As a father, when you get one-on-one time with your kids, you notice things that you typically miss in the daily chaos. The way they look at you when they're proud of themselves. The way their hand fits in yours. The way they come alive when you say, it's just me and you today, bro. That trip changed me. It made me realize that we're not just filling squares on a calendar. We're filling our lives with moments that actually matter. Then, March hit. March didn't walk in. It exploded through the front door. 4 cheer comps. Expo West, a founders only retreat in Austin,
Popcorn. Oh, yeah, sour gum.
our first Disney cruise, and a 5K with the whole family on a Disney island. Every weekend seemed like a new plot twist. At Expo West, I didn't know it at the time, but I met people that became true friends. People I would travel with later in the year. People who would stay at my house. And people who would change my life. And I learned something huge that month. If you want new opportunities, you have to put yourself in new rooms. The more rooms you walk into, the more your life expands. And then I went to the Founders Only Retreat with Eric Hinman in Austin, Texas. This was my second Founders Only Retreat, and every time I go, I walk away with new friends and new wisdom.
Got like 60 miles.
And after Austin, I got home and went straight to a Disney cruise. This was our first one, and the kids were losing their minds. Family everywhere, free ice cream, food everywhere. It was crazy. If you've ever been on a cruise, you know what I'm talking about.
Dancing in September.
We ran a 5K together. Kids, parents, grandparents, all of us together. It was chaos, but it was beautiful chaos. And somewhere in that chaos, I realized momentum is not something you chase. Momentum is something you create intentionally. And then April happened, and it slowed down in the best way possible. It seemed like April didn't ask us to run. It asked us to stay. Birthdays, national cheer competitions, family dinners, Papa still fighting, still living, still showing all of us what true grit looks like. It wasn't a month filled with airports and suitcases, but it was a month filled with intentional presence. And sometimes intentional living means staying at home, being fully present, visiting family and friends, and paying attention. But that slow month became the perfect setup for what was coming next. After all the birthdays that come with the end of April, we were planning for our first trip to the jungle, and that jungle trip changed everything. May was unforgettable. First, we went to a Forrest Frank concert, probably the best concert we've ever been to, and one we still talk about today. Then, we went to Costa Rica.
What was that?
A week with Paul Saladino and new friends deep in the rainforest. My whole family got to jump from Paul's famous platform at his house, including my 5-year-old son Wyatt, which was a little scary. And yes, this is the same house from his tour on YouTube. That was just one of the many highlights of that trip. A moment of pure bravery just frozen in time forever. And we went from jungle humidity and monkeys everywhere, having a great time in the rainforest, to the New York concrete jungle in less than 48 hours. Because me and Stacy were running our first High Rocks.
Let's go!
Another goal that was written down in January and completed in June. But June also held a moment that I just wasn't ready for. A full circle moment that felt like something out of a documentary. May blended right into June. And June was cool in a lot of ways. It was Pop's first trip to New York City. We celebrated Sayla's 10th birthday at Serendipity.
Say, where are we?
Serendipity!
It's on your nose, girl.
Okay.
I ran a mile at the top of the Empire State Building. And of course, the trip to New York wouldn't be the same without spending some time with our friend Shervin. Then we got home and got to experience the brand new Universal Epic theme park with my brother. Because some things you gotta just do for the story. Other things you do for the people you love.
There's a saying, guys. Let's read it. We're about to walk through our first portal. First ride.
Tyler, tell me about this ride.
It spins.
It spins, Jacob.
Spins.
Wyatt, it spins. Dude, are you guys stoked? Oh my.
What is this? Donkey Kong Country, let's go. We're in the Yoshi ride.
What the heck?
Then I got an invite I didn't know I'd ever get. An invite out to Sweet Honey Farms with my wife, interviewing Jesse Itzler and Devin Levesque. And full circle moment, Jesse is the guy who invented the big ass calendar, the same one that transformed my entire year. So meeting him and interviewing him kind of felt surreal. It was like God winking at me saying, you're on the right path. Then shortly after that, Paul Saladino showed up at the Masa Casa. That's my house.
Let's go, bro. Yeah, brother. Fun times.
We did some surfing, a workout, a raw meat smoothie. Yep, that was weird. But more importantly, we had some real conversations, friendships that go beyond what you see on content. And then July happened, and July turned the dial to a whole nother level. July started back in Austin, Texas, but this time with my whole family. We filmed some content with a new cold plunge company, another behind the scenes moment. We got to visit Heart and Soil behind the scenes again. I even had the opportunity to e-foil behind Joe Rogan's house. Don't tell the Liver King, too soon. And we ended up in Barton Springs howling at the moon with some half naked people. Austin things. Then when we got home from that trip, I put my phone down. I put the cameras down, and I led my middle school boys at Clash Camp.
And then we won the whole war game.
Yeah, we did!
That was a highlight of the year. We did not expect it, but we dominated the war games. We laughed until our stomachs hurt, and we got to learn more about who we are in God's image. And my daughters were there too, and getting to see them run wild with their friends was just priceless. And I love seeing it. Then July 31st hit. Me and Stacy hit 15 years of marriage. 15 years of learning, loving, growing, forgiving, laughing, and choosing each other. Even Pete from Sisu Sauna came to stay at the Masa Casa and help us celebrate. But then August came, and that came with one of the hardest physical challenges of my life. August opened up with a front squat PR, one I probably could have hit earlier in the year, but you know. And then my birthday, turned 37 years old. I'm getting kind of old.
Happy birthday, dear Daddy.
Me and Stacy began training for our first marathon. And then Pete invited me out to Ohio to run Hell on Hogsback.
Hell on Hogsback, year 3. Give it up for each other real quick.
A brutal 1 mile course with a 15% incline over and over and over again. 14 laps for me, which equates to 14 miles. I was cooked.
Lap 6.
While there, I got to experience some saunas, cold plunges, brotherhood, friendships forged in shared suffering. Then, towards the end of the month, Matt from Desert Plunge came to stay at the Masa Casa. Another relationship deepened because we chose to make time. But September was breathtaking. We got invited out to Utah to spend the week with the Redmond Real Salt team, and that trip was unreal.
Later, see you down there.
We got to tour the salt mines. We got to shoot dynamite and cannons. We drove out to Lake Powell, where we flew water planes, wake surfed right next to the cliffs, hiked through multiple slot canyons. We got to eat some of the best food on the planet from Chef Sean, and we stayed on a houseboat filled with people that felt like instant family. Then, me and Stacy ran our first marathon.
50K done in the books.
Yes!
Side by side, step by step, together. Another goal accomplished because we chose to write it down. And we did it out at the Running Man Festival, which I highly recommend anybody watching this, you should check out. We came home to celebrate our daughter Ava turning 14 years old. Where is time going?
Happy birthday to you.
It still kind of feels impossible that we have a daughter that old. Kids grow fast, seemingly faster than years on a calendar, and definitely faster than we're ready for. And then Paul's sister and her family came to stay with us at the Masa Casa, another friendship that was forged in the Costa Rican jungle. And the kids were reunited. We did some surfing, some tubing, some workouts, and just laughed our butts off. October hit, and it opened an entirely different loop. We started with my dad's foundation event. Over 20 years of impact, raising money for children's charities, seeing old friends, and feeling grateful for those deep roots. When I left the car business a few years ago, A lot of those friendships and relationships kind of went on the back burner. But it was awesome getting to spend time with everybody and catch up. Then, my third year going to Vid Summit. New people, new creativity, learning new things, and new doors opening. And then when I got back from that, I pushed myself through a 7-day visceral fat reset. Eating 3,000 calories a day, I lost 12 pounds. Still not sure how that math worked out, but it did. And then November came. And November became one of my favorite months of the entire year. Me and Stacy went to therapy for the first time. Not because we were falling apart, but because we want to stay strong. And it was truthfully one of the best decisions we ever made. And I'm looking forward to our next appointment. Then Shervin came to visit Tampa finally.
Look at Uncle Sherv. He's prepping.
Like, finally, we've tried to make this happen for 2 years, but I forcefully put it on the calendar. We cooked, we trained, we dreamed, we talked about life. We even shot some content together.
Morning knife fight.
Oh, got him.
This is Krav Maga
Oh,
training.
got him.
That's the type of friendships that really sharpen you. Then the Hack Your Health conference. And we had more friends from Costa Rica come and stay at the Masa Casa. We even had a full-blown wellness party where we had over 30 different people come to our house for a wellness event. Grass-fed burgers, fruit, raw dairy, cold plunging under the stars, sauna party, laughter, and community that just felt like family.
No. Can't let people come over.
This is awesome.
And then I spoke to over 150 kids at the Great American Teach-In. I even flew a drone in the classroom. The kids went crazy. We talked about YouTube. We talked about dreaming big. And to see their eyes light up, that's when it hit me. This year, I started as a student. And this year, I ended as a teacher. The year's not even over yet. But when I look back on 2025 so far, one thing stands out. None of this happened by accident. Not the trips. Not the friendships, not the goals, not the laughter, not the milestones, not the moments with my kids, not the memories with my wife. Everything happened because we learned how to live every square. A year is not 12 months. It's not 52 weeks. It's 365 squares. Little boxes filled with the opportunities to build the life you want to live. And if you don't fill those squares will fill themselves with noise, with stress, with distractions, with nothingness. But if you choose those squares, you choose your life. And to my kids, when you watch this video back 5 years from now, I hope you get to remember the moments, the laughter, the crazy adventures, the naked lady at Barton Springs, the time a cougar growled at you in the jungle, the simple days, the messy days, the wins, the growth, and the love. Because this year wasn't perfect, but it sure was full. And it was full because we lived it on purpose. And to anyone else watching, if you want your next year to feel different, get a calendar, write something down, fill a square, and then go live it. Because a meaningful life doesn't magically appear. It's built with intention. One moment, one plan, one intentional day at a time. Go live every square. Hey, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Have a great day, my friends, and God bless. And hey, speaking of next video, I have a couple videos pop up right here. I'm also going to have the big ass calendar linked down in the video description. It's a great calendar. Obviously, it changed my entire year, and I will be using the big ass calendar for more than likely the rest of my life. So I'll have it linked down in the description below if you want to check them out. Super cheap, definitely worth the investment. I'll see you guys later.